Hey, Coach, I know you said obviously Kevin won't be available tomorrow. I'm just wondering, when he's out, what kind of role does he play? I mean, is he with the guys encouraging? I mean, does he have a specific?
I don't know that we've defined a specific role, but we really don't need to. He's kind of become an assistant coach, and I think he's done a good job helping the guys. Maybe they don't play as many minutes while they're not in the game. At least he did the other day for sure. I had to tell him to be quiet during one timeout. So, but no, he's kept a good attitude and been stayed positive and all those things.
And I know second to last home game, has it gone by fast this season for you? Has it been what you expected, or do you ever look in terms of like, wow, we're already here?
Yeah, I think I could say that now. But you know, the older you get, Shay, the faster things go by. It's, you know, Christmas even comes quicker now the older you get. You know, back when you're young, you think that the next year will never get here. And when you get older, you're like going, the next year seems like it was, you know, is a month away, you know. So, yeah, so the season to me has gone fast. Even though we've had our frustrating moments, it's gone by fast.
Last 24 hours, Bill, there's been a conversation on court storming. There have been people who said there should be, legal ramifications for the kids who storm the court. Others said just let them do what they want. Where do you stand on court storming right now?
Well, I certainly don't think it ever should be let them do as they want. I think, and we've probably been stormed on about as much as anybody. I would think. At least there was a period of time, like every road loss we had on a home court, it seemed like it was a court storming. We've actually gotten better at it because of the way you can prep your team in certain ways, and a lot of the safety measures up until recently, I think, has been with the the visiting team educating their own players how to handle it. And I mean, like calling a timeout with 15 seconds left and it's a 10-point game just to get guys out of the game or whatever, or tell them, okay, don't go out there, by stand next to the sideline. You know, those things happen, but even with that should not be the responsibility of the visiting team to educate their guys. I don't like it. I wish they would legal, outlaw, but I would think the leagues could certainly put stiff enough penalties down on places that do, that would certainly deter those things from ever happening, at least in my standpoint. And the one that everyone's talking about as of recently, that was one of the quickest ones I've ever seen. I mean, that happened so fast, and if you don't have the proper security in a situation like that, it would be hard to imagine that fans do not come in contact with visiting players, which could lead obviously to injuries or maybe legal things down the road. So I would hope they could just totally do away with them. We haven't stormed a court here, I don't know if we ever have in you know, my time, but even before that. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form that that's the way it has to be or we're the standard. But I do believe it's gotten way out of control.
And then one other quick question: how have you been able to help KJ, through this difficult season, and what has that been like?
I think it's been, from my standpoint, it hasn't been as difficult to keep him up, because he is the most remarkable young man, and I think if anything, he probably keeps us up. You know, they say, you know, that a lot of times, you know, that players can learn so much from coaches. Well, in this situation, I think we've all learned from him how you take an adverse, tragic type situation and handle it with grace and still yet uplift others. So I think he deserves the vast majority of the credit. I think his family does as well. But I do believe that basketball and his teammates has been an outlet for him to help him get through this as much as anything.
Bill, a different team we haven't seen with a different style. Does it almost feel like a non-con or a tournament game? And then describe their style and what makes it unique.
Well, they're going to shoot a lot of threes. I don't know what they're averaging on the exact number for the year. Is it 34 or 35 attempts a game? 33 attempts. That's for the year. And You know, if they, like the other day, we made 3 threes, is that right? And played really well. You know, if they make 13 threes, they've already outscored you 30 points from the field, you know, a situation like that, if we were to make 3. So it's actually a good style of play. You got, you know, 5 guys with their starters that can all shoot 3s, and then you've got 4 guys always in the game that can shoot 3s, even when they go to the bench. And we're gonna have to do some things differently, because I still believe in my heart, even though I say I don't coach it this way, I still believe in the player's mind, we still defend from the inside out. And this is a game we need to defend from the outside in. And even though I don't say that, but I think the way that we teach things and everything, you know, no easy basket, no straight line drives, no angles on the post, all these things are things that you really put in kids' mind that this really impacts you. And if they shoot 33% from the field, they've had a great from 3, they've had a great shooting night, because that's the same as shooting 50 from 2. And whenever you shoot 50 from 2, you usually win. So it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, with BYU and the 2 different kinds of play styles they've got from their centers with Khalifa and Traore, you know, you got Khalifa who can shoot and pass, and Traore is a bruiser. Just what kind of challenges that present, and what kind of dimensions that add to their offense that they've got those 2 separate kind of guys?
Well, I think it could impact how you guard, you know, ball screens, dribble handoffs, all those things. It could impact if you switch or don't switch. You know, there's a lot of things about that could, and you know, and we studied it, you know, pretty intently, and it does make them harder to guard, because I don't think you can have one recipe for success. I think you got to approach it when certain people are in the game, depending on who you have in the game, it may change how you want to guard.
Coach, I asked Nick this. Did you learn anything about the team against Texas? Obviously, a couple more games of it in the regular season, March and the Big 12 tournament. Did you learn anything more about the team in that game against Texas?
No. I think what we found out is that when we play well together, we're pretty good. And then, you know, obviously you've seen us when we don't, we're not near as effective. But I still believe that when we play well, which we did against Texas, that first half we were pretty good. When we play well, you know, we can line up and play with anybody. When we don't play well, obviously anybody can play with us, and there's probably not as much margin for error for most teams that can actually claim that. But you know, whether it be, you know, without stating who, I mean, you look at the top 10, we've played pretty well against the best teams that we've had an opportunity to play against.
And I asked Nick this too. I think I asked you this last year as well. Scale of A to F. He said you guys are hitting your stride. He would grade your guys as a B right now. What would you grade your team?
E. Is that there's no such grade for that, right? So hitting our stride, I would say probably B-. I think that's probably, Nick's probably right on point. That's pretty good coach speaking.
Is Kevin officially out this week? And
I don't know about this week, Gary. He's not gonna play tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, he definitely will not play tomorrow.
looking at the big picture as a coach, have you ever thought of just saying, let's just stop it till after the Big 12 tournament? And resting and all that?
Well, I think you could look at, well, we are looking at the big picture. That's exactly what we're looking at. But the big picture, if you start playing him after the Big 12 tournament, he wouldn't be worth a crap in the NCAA tournament. So we need to get rhythm and find out who we are and play the style that you'd want to play in the NCAA tournament. So that would take, a week to 10 days at least to do that. So I see him, if he comes back to be able to help us, he's gonna have to be in full rhythm for at least that long, so we could actually do what he talked about earlier, hit our stride. Is that the term you used?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What do you think of the Big 12 race with Houston winning again?
I'm not gonna say it's over by any stretch, because it's not, because I doubt Iowa State loses again. So I would like to say we could be in there, but for us to even be mathematically capable of being in there, we'd have to go undefeated and they'd have to go 2-2. So it's come down, Not saying that can't happen, but the reality, likelihood of that happening are not very great. So I'm sure that the two teams that need to be talked about are Iowa State and Houston. They've had the best years in our league so far.
Anything else?
Thanks,